Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is weight training problems. Well, I have a lot of videos about weight training, a lot of articles on my website, kind of talking about how you should be doing it all the time and take it up as a good pastime, and it's good for your health. But I don't think that's fair. I should talk about some of the problems there are with weight training. The first are you can get injured weight training, and I to be fair on myself, I've talked about a lot of my injuries, a lot of the problems, and some of the causes and some of the reasons. But yes, when you're doing stressful exercises or stressful anything that's kind of at the limit of your capacity, you have the potential to get injured, and weight training is no different. Like I've said, I've been injured a number of times weight training, and the types of injuries I've had have been fairly, the worst one was fairly significant, but it really wasn't the weight training that caused. I was in a car accident a long time ago, and I had a football injury, and the weight training exacerbated those old injuries. So it wasn't just the weight training fault that I got injured pretty severely. It's usual that you're going to get injured a little bit here and there with the weight training, and it's more likely though that you'll get the serious weight training injuries usually come as a result of trying to chase personal records or in competitions. I just was watching a video of Sylvester Stallone, and he was talking about why he's got all these tattoos, and the reason is to cover up this terrible injury he suffered while he was in a bench press competition, with just in the gym with one famous bodybuilder. So, like I say, if he wouldn't have been in the competition, if he was just training normally at a capacity that he can handle, probably wouldn't have had this horrible injury, right? If you wouldn't be going to powerlifting competitions and weight training competitions and be trying to outdo your training partners, you won't usually get these horrible injuries like tearing a pec or tearing a bicep or wrecking yourself. You want to use the weight training to improve your life, not make it worse, for goodness sake. But I get it. Yeah, there's a certain, you get competitive about such things, and the other thing is, if you're preparing wisely for a competition, it doesn't mean you're going to get hurt if you're preparing wisely. It's just that because you're doing a lot more, it's likely. But usually weight training, you did a weight this week, next week you're going to do just a little bit more than this week. It's not like you're going to go up dramatically, right? If you go into let's say you're going to compete in a powerlifting competition, well, the weight you use in the powerlifting competition is a weight that you've lifted in the gym, right? You know you can do it. It's not like 50 or 100 pounds more. It's not even like 20 pounds more. You have to know you can do it before you try it in the powerlifting competition. So, but yes, there is the potential that you can get hurt with these severely with weight training, but not if you're doing it intelligently. What's more likely if you're doing it intelligently is you'll have like aches and pains and minor strains. When I hurt my back, even last year at the end of New Year's Eve of 2019, I strained my lower back deadlifting a large weight. But it was a weight that I was just working myself up to. I'd only lift just a little bit more than the last time, but I was already hurting. My back wasn't feeling very good at all when I went in to do that lift, and it was just kind of a foolish thing on my part to try that day. And that was just a strain, and I didn't lift for 2 weeks, and then I started lifting again. It was just a strain. I'm fine, right? I'm back to working out at a more regular clip again. That's the more normal, are these aches and pains. And if you do things intelligently, like how I'm suggesting, not to go overboard with too many repetitions and too many sets and too many workouts a week, your stresses and the strain and the aches and pains are lessened. However, you are trying to do more, so you will feel it. Like today, I lifted, today is Monday, I lifted on Friday. I feel it. I did like a heavy bench presses and heavy close grip bench presses and heavy bent over rows. My weights are all going up on those major lifts, and I feel it, right? I feel my hands and my forearms feel it because I've been increasing those weights. But that feeling, that's normal. That's what you'll have as you're doing more. So you kind of have to know the difference between a normal ache and pain that you'll feel good enough when you go back to the gym versus something that's really severe and you need more of a layoff. I've been increasing my weight steadily now for the last month and a half or so, and I really haven't needed any ibuprofen or Aleve or anything like that. And those types of medications, over-the-counter medications, are common for people who weight train, that they need those to feel good again. But see, so far I haven't needed those. I think partially is because I'm not really at my upper weights yet. I'm kind of working toward those bigger weights that I'm trying to get toward. But I'm working toward that. But I certainly right now feel that heavy bench press workout in my, not so much in my chest, but in my hands and forearms, because the weight is getting significantly heavy, and those smaller parts of you take quite a beating when the weights get heavy. Might have to have some sort of a pad actually on my hands, because my hands, if you're a computer guy like me, doesn't work in the field, I'd say real man work, your hands are never going to be as strong as, let's say, the rest of your body, which I find very annoying. I'd rather have, more powerful paws, but that's just how life goes. If you work in an office, a computer jockey pushing a paper around, you're not going to develop that massive hand and wrist and forearm power that the real men have. Anyway, that's aches and the pains. You got to expect it. It's an irritation. It's a problem of weight training. Another problem is the weight training, even if you minimize how often you do it, it does take considerable time, to prepare, to wash, to keep your clothes washed, and you need a towel, and you gotta have a gym bag, and it takes, you need all that gear. It takes time to get there, and it takes time to do the workout, and it takes time to get home and then recover. So it takes time. It's one of the biggest reasons I like to only do it twice a week, is it takes so blasted long of a time. I just have so many other things. So you have to know that it takes time, and you can't just expect, if you have an extremely busy schedule, to not to just work it in. It doesn't work that way. Something else has to give. Something else has to give. You need plenty of free time to weight train properly. Even if and I'm just suggesting minimizing how many times a week you work out, so you can do it consistently. That part is irritating to me, because I'd rather just sit home and watch TV too. But it's the weight training is so good for you that you really should make the time for it. The aches, the pains. Another problem with it is the unrealistic expectations you have. You look out at the fitness YouTubers and in the bodybuilding, in the magazines, and the male models, and the celebrities and the pro athletes, and you'll see the fantastic development that those guys have, and you'll think that all you have to do is go to the gym once a week, and then you're gonna have it. Not so fast, right? Those guys are making a living with their body. They're genetically predisposed to have that kind of development. You know, like a pro athlete is not going to be a pro athlete unless they're genetically predisposed to be a good athlete. So if you're, wondering why you can't get that kind of muscle that the pro athletes have, well, it's because you're not a pro athlete, right? And the other thing, the biggest thing is that they all are using the pharmacy to help them have that kind of development. And I'm not against the pharmacy, to tell the truth. I just wish everyone would understand that that's a huge component of that development. If you understand it, you can either choose to partake of it yourself, or just say, well, those guys take drugs, they take steroids of all kinds of types, and they're reaping the rewards. I choose not to take drugs of really any kind, and so I don't expect that I'm going to be able to develop have the kind of development that a person who takes drugs that are specifically designed to help your human development, right? I think that that's the only way you can think of it. So that's a huge problem, though, is having unrealistic expectations about how your body is going to respond to the weight training. It will respond well with intelligently crafted programs, but it won't respond as well as somebody who's using pharmaceutical assistance. Okay? But that still doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, right? So the reason I am weight training is not to develop the body of a steroid using male model, celebrity, bodybuilder, or pro athlete. I'm using it to improve my life, and I think that's a more healthy way to think of it. And the benefit, as it's improving my life, I am looking a lot better than if I wasn't. You have to look at your body and your body's development as, are you doing better than you would be, right? The competition isn't the NFL players or the music or the singer up on stage or the guy in the movie or the male fitness model or the YouTube celebrity who's making a living talking about fitness related things. It's you. The competition is with yourself of, I don't want to be weak and look terrible, and I don't want to feel terrible. I don't want to be unpowerful. I want to be powerful, strong, fit, and feel good about myself. So that's just, the competition is with yourself. That's the only healthy way to do it, I think. So give these ideas some thought. Yeah, there's some weightlifting problems, but overall, it's a great activity for you. All for now.